Hello everyone and welcome to a new reading vlog. It has been a minute since I've done a reading vlog and I feel kind of odd. I don't know what I'm supposed to film, but I figured with my spooky October TBR, it'd be fun to film my thoughts and opinions just because I think my October TBR is pretty adventurous and really out there in terms of my comfort zone. If you're curious to know what exactly I'm reading for this reading vlog, you can go ahead and watch my October TBR. I will mention the books as they naturally come up, but if you want to know ahead of time, feel free to check out that video. I'm currently 35% into Dead Silence, which is supposed to be a blend of Titanic meets The Shining. Now, I haven't seen The Shining, but I know it's a horror film. I would say it's definitely a very slow build. I am only 35% in, and we are only seeing like hints and pieces of what I am assuming are going to be the horror aspects of this book. I haven't been scared yet. I've been a little curious but not scared. I'm more like, what the heck is going on? I want answers but not scared yet. We follow the main character Claire, who is the team leader of this space crew. The book starts off in present time. Claire is in a rehabilitation center for, it seems like, post-traumatic stress disorder, and she is being questioned by these agents of the top tier like space agency for travel. These officers are trying to get her to tell them what happened on this space liner. They think that Claire is responsible for whatever happened. It seems like Claire is the sole survivor of the event. We don't know what happened, but she is the sole survivor, and I don't think that's a spoiler because we get all of that information in the first chapter. So it goes from present time, her in the rehab center with the agents, and then it moves to the past of her telling them how everything happened. They're just waiting for her to say, yeah, I did it, but she's not, because she didn't do it. Or maybe she did, I don't know. We're still figuring that out. That Dead Silence I'm reading at work because I need to have something to read at work. But at home, I think I'm going to start The Ballad of Never After finally. I'm going to wash off this makeup, then get in bed and start The Ballad of Never After, aiming for 3 chapters. I will be happy and content and accomplished if I can read 3 chapters. It's been a day or so since the last time I vlogged anything. I still haven't read that much of The Ballad of Never After. I read about 3 pages. I read the little letter at the beginning. I have made progress on Dead Silence though. We're finally on the ship, like the entire crew is on the ghost ship. But in other news, it's my birthday. I turned 25 today. That's the last time I'm gonna say that, but it's my birthday.
How old?
Oh no, my battery's dying! Look at my haircut before my camera dies. And there's Holly. Thanks, Holly. I guess that's it for this update because my camera says it's dying. And Holly. Okay. So back from that interruption, and here comes Holly to create chaos once again. But anyways, as I was saying before my camera died, I haven't really done a lot of reading in my physical books. I don't even have the book on hand. I have made progress on Dead Silence. I feel like we are finally getting into the meat and potatoes of the story. I'm definitely intrigued and curious. It's not a boring book per se. It's definitely building up the suspense and the creepiness of what's going on. My goal is to get through 3 chapters in The Ballad of Never After, and I know I sound like a broken record because I've said that in multiple clips and I've only read about 3 or 4 pages in the book, but I really, this weekend, as busy as it is, I want to at least make it 3 chapters in. This lighting is not great. Hi, so it's been a few days, maybe 1 or 2 days since the last time I actually checked in with you all and let you know how my reading was going. This past weekend was kind of hectic. My birthday was on Friday and then my husband's birthday was on Sunday. On Friday, I went out with my mom, I celebrated with my best friend, and then on Saturday, I went over to my mom's. She had a little birthday lunch celebration, just literally me, my mom, and my husband. And then on Sunday, we threw my husband a surprise birthday party, which was a success. We had a few inconveniences here and there, but overall, he had a good time, which is all that really matters to me. If he enjoyed it, then I am happy. But because of that, I really have not been reading, but I am happy to report that I did finally finish. I did manage to finish A Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes, and I am giving it a 3 stars. The reason being, I think it was a good book. I think it was interesting. I will say the beginning kind of dragged on. I feel like they really set the atmosphere for the story, but I do think like you kind of had to push yourself. And while I think the second half of the book was really good, I just don't think it was like, wow, I want to recommend this to everyone. I can't stop thinking about it. So I don't think it's a 4 or 5 star read, but it's a 3 stars, a good read. Like I said, you just kind of have to push yourself through that first half. As far as the horror aspect, I think I just have the wrong perception of what horror is. I think I want a horror book that is going to like scare me silly. Like, I want to be petrified, I think is what I thought a horror novel is. But I guess, you know, like everything, it's on a spectrum of what people consider scary. We have some gore, we have some graphic images in the descriptions, so that was obviously very alarming, but I don't think there was ever like a spot where I was truly scared. I just think it didn't scare me. It was eerie, but I wasn't scared at any point, and that could be because it's a sci-fi, so just the environment and where it took place, maybe my brain doesn't consider it scary because it's like, oh, this is just fiction. It doesn't happen. That's not to say this is, you know, rainbows and unicorns. Like I said, there are some graphic images or gory images. I think the overall situation, once we find out the plot twist of what has happened, I think that is very sinister, but I wouldn't necessarily say it scared me. The camera might be a little lopsided because I put the tripod on my bed. I just got done doing some cleaning. Like I said, our birthdays were this past weekend, so I did not do any cleaning. So out of the 4 books that I planned to read for this video, I've completed 1, but I am in the middle of His Hideous Heart, which was the anthology of Edgar Allan Poe retellings. And it's interesting to see, you know, these classic tales that we all know in a more modern way. I am listening to the audiobook in the car during my commute and then reading the actual ebook at work. I don't think I'm going to get to the Ballad of Never After, but honestly, I am not super bummed about it because my husband and I, for this cabin trip that we are going on this weekend, we decided to read a book together. So we are going to be reading The Chestnut Man. I believe it is a book originally in Danish, but anyways, it's supposed to be really dark and twisty. So I don't think it's true horror though. I think it's just very dark, but not horror. But anyways, if it is very dark or at any point I get a little too creeped out or in my head, I am going to take the Ballad of Never After as like a palate cleanser. I really want to keep the Ballad of Never After as like my safety net for this creepy dark book that we are going to be reading this weekend. Tomorrow, hopefully I can read as much of Uzumaki as I can because I would like to at least finish Uzumaki for this vlog. I realize that the 4 books are not going to get read because I started filming on Wednesday, so I want this to be a weekly vlog. So I'm planning on ending it tomorrow so that I can upload this on Thursday. It's Wednesday. Happy hump day, everyone. Halfway through the week. Very exciting for me because that means there's 2 more days until our cabin trip. I had 4 books planned that I wanted to read, and if I finish Uzumaki, I will have finished 4 books. No, I did not spontaneously finish the Ballad of Never After, but I've read Dead Silence. I finished His Hideous Heart, which was the Edgar Allan Poe anthology. I ended up giving that a 3 stars as well. It was okay, and I thought it was interesting to see all of these authors' takes on Edgar Allan Poe classics, but for some reason, I don't think they captured that Edgar Allan Poe essence, like the eeriness, the darkness. It wasn't there. I will say some of the stories were better than others that I really enjoyed. Even though I gave the overall anthology collection a 3 stars, there are maybe 3 stories out of the 13 that I would have given 4 stars that I thought were really well done. I would still recommend it, I think, just because it is interesting to see everyone's takes. Some of them are set super far out in the future where we have, you know, really cool technology. So it's cool to see those situations. But it just, the darkness and the eeriness of Poe's writing is not there. I also finished a book that was not on the TBR, but I think it fits in the Halloween spooky feel. It's a very short story. I finished it in probably like an hour or 2 uninterrupted, and that is Comfort Me with Apples by Catherine M. Valente. You can tell right from the start that something is not right. So the book starts off with this wife waking up in her perfect home, and her first thought is, I was made for him, as in her husband. Her husband travels a lot, so he's not home, but she does everything that she can to be the perfect wife so that she can continue to have her perfect life with her perfect husband in her perfect house. Like, everything is very perfect. We start to see some cracks in even like her way of thinking. Like, is my life really that perfect? She discovers some things in her homes or in her home, singular home. She discovers in her home some things that definitely would not fall into the category of perfect house. And like I said, it is a really short story, but you really get that feeling of something isn't right, but what is it? And I really liked it. I thought it was really well done. I gave it a 4 stars, first 4-star read of this vlog. The ending is interesting. Definitely took me by surprise. I think once we get to the climax, like the point where everything is supposed to be known, I was like, I did not see that coming. I don't know what I thought was coming, but it was not that. I would highly recommend Comfort Me with Apples. I think it's perfect for the Halloween season. It's not really overly scary. It's just kind of trippy, I guess. Last book, Uzumaki. Let's get into it. Almost halfway through Uzumaki, and I have to say this is definitely unnerving. Like, the pictures make me so uncomfortable, but we have gotten to the portion of killer mosquitoes, and I am petrified. Like, this, no, I don't like bugs whatsoever, but mosquitoes, I have a personal beef with mosquitoes. Like, they always come after me, and I always have mosquito bites swelling to the size of tennis balls. So that is scary. I am officially uncomfortable. So it is 12:14 a.m. and I finished Uzumaki just minutes ago. I really enjoyed this. It was strange. It creeped me out, and I'm going to give it a 4 stars. I don't think it was a 5 stars, but definitely a 4 stars. I understand the appeal. Uzumaki was about a town that becomes obsessed with spirals, and it completely takes over the town. A lot of weird, creepy things start happening. We have snail people, we have a bloodthirsty mosquito hybrid type things. I don't want to give it away, but it's a lot of weird stuff happens, and not only is the plot, like the situations, odd, but the images, the illustrations really heightened the experience for me. I mean, I was creeped out. I don't know if I will ever look at spirals the same way. I'm actually into Junji Ito's illustrations and writing. Like, I want to read more from this author. I want to read more mangas. I can definitely see myself reading another one of Junji Ito's manga. Like, I'm a fan. This is just, the plot was so, I don't want to say it was ridiculous, but it kind of was, but it made you want to keep reading. It was kind of like a train wreck, but you can't look away. I would give this a 4 stars, and I am so happy that I got to read it and that I got to complete it. Sorry if the clips aren't all that exciting. I did my best, but reading vlogs are always difficult for me because I don't know how much do I really want to film. I don't want most of it being just me sitting there and reading. And that wraps up this reading vlog. Finally, I feel like this was the longest vlog ever. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Leave a comment down below letting me know which Junji Ito manga should I read next. And I'll see you in the next video.